Okay, so get this, right? Picture this, you're heading to a party, but get this, you're riding in a Tesla Cybercab. No driver, no steering wheel or nothing, just you, some tunes, cruising. And that's the future. This Jay Poole guy, he lays out like the whole vision in his brand new book, Welcome to the Future.
It's a future that, honestly, it's a lot closer than we think.
Mhm.
I mean, Tesla's got their autonomous fleet out there, like on the roads today.
Right. And Poole, he's saying these self-driving cars, they could be like way safer. Not just a little bit. I'm talking, he says, like 10, 20, even 30 times safer than with us humans behind the wheel.
Yeah, that's right. He really dives into all the accident statistics and all the risks that come with, like, us being human, fatigue, distractions, road rage, all that.
Yeah.
And autonomous vehicles, at least in theory, they wouldn't have those problems.
So no more like fender benders because someone's texting while driving. That's a future I can definitely get behind. But
Right.
Poole, he doesn't stop there. No way. He says
Yeah.
these self-driving cars, they could completely change how we design cities.
Like, think about it. All those parking lots, right? Huge, taking up all that space. Pool's suggesting we could turn them into, like, parks, green spaces, housing even.
Okay, so let me get this straight. He's saying if the cars are always moving, picking people up, dropping them off, we wouldn't need all those parking spots.
That's exactly it. And since they'd probably be electric, like the autonomous vehicles, Pool's also saying way less pollution. So it's like this domino effect, one tech change changing everything else.
Wow, so from concrete jungles to actual jungles, that's something I'd love to see. And speaking of exploring, Poole brings up something kind of mind-blowing. Optimus, this humanoid robot. And get this, it's supposed to be like a super-powered personal assistant. Can you tell us more about this Optimus thing?
So for anyone who hasn't heard, Optimus is being developed by Tesla. It's going to be like this general purpose robot, and Pool says it could do everything, walk your dog, chores around the house,
Yeah.
maybe even babysitting.
Hold on, wait, robot babysitters? What would that even look like?
Well, we don't have all the details yet, but Pool does mention Tesla wants to make Optimus pretty affordable, like around the price of a car, he says. And he uses that to suggest that, like, this tech, it wouldn't just be for rich people, it'd be for everyone.
Yeah, that changes everything. Imagine coming home from work, Optimus has dinner ready, place is clean, maybe even help the kids with their homework.
He's painting this picture of, like, an age of abundance, robots doing all the boring stuff, leaving us humans free to do, more creative things.
It sounds kind of utopian, almost too good to be true. But are we getting ahead of ourselves?
No.
Robots walking the dog, doing dishes, that's great. But what about the people who, like, their jobs, those robots would be doing them? What happens to them in this future?
Yeah, that's the million-dollar question, right? Poole, he knows this is a big concern, and he seems to think these people, they'd move into jobs that need, like, creativity, problem solving, things like that.
So we'd all be trading in, like, our tools and uniforms for paintbrushes and guitars? Is that what he's saying?
Well, definitely an optimistic take, I'll give him that. But Poole says, look at history, right? Every time we have this new tech, boom, new industries pop up, new jobs that we couldn't even imagine.
Yeah, he's got a point there. I mean, 20 years ago, who was predicting, like, social media managers or drone delivery pilots, right?
Exactly. But he also says we got to be ready for this shift. Like, education has to change. We need to teach people those uniquely human skills, critical thinking, emotional intelligence, that kind of stuff.
So it's not just about robots taking over. It's about humans, like, stepping up.
Exactly. And on that note, Poole talks about another possible upside to all this. More economic equality, potentially.
Okay, now that's interesting. How do robots and self-driving cars make things fairer?
Well, his argument is with automation doing all the work, right, goods and services, they could get cheaper for everyone. Like,
Yeah.
imagine transportation costs just plummet because you're not paying a driver anymore. Or chores are way easier because you've got Optimus there lending a hand.
So more free time, A&D, more money in our pockets.
That's the idea, making, the essentials more affordable no matter how much you make. But, and Poole acknowledges this, this all depends on, like, everyone actually getting access to this tech, which is something he really emphasizes in the book.
That's a pretty amazing concept. A future where tech doesn't just make things easier, but fairer, too.
Right. It really makes you rethink how we define progress, doesn't it?
It does. It really does.
And that's what makes Poole's book so interesting, He's not just listing off inventions. He's making us picture what's possible if we combine all this cool tech with, like, social responsibility.
He's challenging us to think bigger, not just about the gadgets, but the world we're building with them.
And that brings us back to that party Poole keeps talking about. You
Yeah.
remember the one with the cybercabs taking everyone there and the Optimus bots
Yeah,
hosting?
it sounded like something out of a movie, honestly.
Well, he uses that scenario to make a point, you see. He wants us to ask ourselves, how comfortable are we with all this?
Oh.
Robots, not just as tools, but like companions, helpers, even party guests.
I mean, part of me is like, sign me up for the robot party planner, but then the other part of me is like, hold on, where does it all end?
Right, and Poole gets that. He totally gets how complex this is. And he's saying, like, as robots get more and more a part of our lives, we got to set boundaries, clear ones.
What kind of boundaries are we talking about here? Fences for the robots.
Well, for one thing, he's really big on keeping that human connection.
Yeah.
You know, he's worried that, like, if we rely on robots too much, people could end up isolated, especially if they start choosing, like, robot friends over human ones.
Yeah, that makes sense. We're social creatures after all. I mean, replacing all human contact with robots, even if they can mix a perfect cocktail, that sounds kind of bleak, honestly.
Totally. And then there's the whole ethical side of things. Like, Poole brings up, what happens if a robot like Optimus malfunctions? Who's responsible if someone gets hurt?
Right. Who do you sue? The robot.
Exactly. And how do we even make sure this technology, which is super powerful, is used the right way, ethically, you know?
Those are some big questions. It's like he's saying, hey, maybe we should figure this stuff out before we're bumping elbows with robots at every party.
Exactly. And I think, honestly, that's what I took away from this book the most. Welcome to the future. It's not just him, like, predicting what's going to happen. It's a call to action, you know? It's like he's saying, this is the future, but we get to help build it through the choices we make today.
So it's less about, do we want robots in our lives, and more about, what's that relationship going to look like?
Exactly. And making sure that relationship is good for everyone.
Well said. Well said. This deep dive into Jay Poole's Welcome to the Future, man, it's given us a lot to chew on. Self-driving cars, robot assistants, cities that are like forests. It's exciting, but it's a lot to wrap our heads around.
No doubt. No doubt. The future's being written as we speak, and it's on all of us to, like, really think about this stuff, engage with it responsibly.
It's a future we're all going to be living in together, robots and all. Thanks for joining us on this one. And until next time, keep exploring, keep asking questions, and most importantly, keep imagining the future you want to see.